All right, relax and take it easy. Free up your mind, yeah? Good morning, wake up to an exciting show here on KUTV Rise today, but take it easy. It's an exciting, slow, and very intense show as well. So if you're going to be tuning in all the way to 10 in the morning, I prefer that you take it easy, grab yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage in the morning or your favorite meal in the morning and join us here as we get to discuss matters ranging from politics, education, business, the economy, and technology as well. This is KUTV Rise today, if I didn't say that enough, and you can be following the broadcasting as well on your TV and as well as our social media channels are at KUTV Kenya. You can follow that broadcast on the live stream at Facebook and also on YouTube. So be sure to catch all of the content that will be shared here on the show up to 10 in the morning. This is Biashara Tuesday. We get to talk about business mostly and the economy. So hashtag Biashara Tuesday is what you are going to use as you interact with us, engage us on the SMS/WhatsApp numbers as well, and be commenting on the live stream with the rest of the fans who are there. We'll be reacting to your comments. Your feedback is highly valued, and as we also contribute what our thoughts are to your reactions. This morning, there are a couple of stories that we are going to be majorly looking at, and I'm going to maybe just briefly give you a brief look into what you can expect all the way to the end of the show. But first, let's begin with some good news. And one Kenyan whose name goes by Margaret Nyamumbo is the founder and CEO of Kahawa 1893, an African coffee that is exporting coffee to the United States. The businesswoman featured on a reality television show that most of you might be aware of called Shark Tank, where she persuaded one of the judges to purchase 5% of Kahawa 1893. This is amounting to millions of US dollars, and I'll be, of course, giving you that figure later on, but to celebrate, of course, some of these ventures that Kenyans are getting into that have eventually been prosperous. So there's success if you continuously pitch your idea and find it in the right spaces. Margaret Nyamumbo has this 1893 Kahawa 1893 African coffee exporting company, and her case is that the workers who are sourcing for this coffee are not well compensated. So she's found a mechanism of ensuring that you can tip the farmers directly, but you can also purchase some of this coffee produce from them, and all the profits and all the proceeds can go trickle down to these farmers who have been for a long time exploited by either middlemen or some of business policies which are exploitative to them. So congratulations to Margaret Nyamumbo for securing that funding, and we are hoping that you can realize some of what she's trying to do in Kenya. We've seen this with several other ventures. Remember from last year, Ecobana winning $1 million, and now we see here Margaret Nyamumbo. It's important that we always celebrate. Also not forgetting CNN Global Heroes last year, Nancy Cheboy, who's also upcycling computers for school-going children in Kenya. So commendable work by Kenyans all over the world who are putting in the effort to be successful in their ventures. As we discuss about agriculture and a win there by one Margaret Nyamumbo, over in Kenya, there's an expose by the BBC Africa, which is detailing sexual exploitation of tea farmers in the Rift region mostly. The investigative report shows that there's rampant exploitation of women who are seeking jobs in the tea farms. The managers are arm twisting them for sex as a condition to keep their job. This story has been detailed here in the Standard, and it's also something that you can get to watch on YouTube. Type out BBC Africa and you can get to follow up on exactly what is happening with these women who are working so hard, as we've seen the case of coffee farmers who are not getting their regular and also the necessary compensation that they should be. And here we also have sexual exploitation in the tea farms. A very sad story to be getting and receiving from foreign media as well, but we'll be detailing it later as well on the newspaper review section and see what kind of problems and challenges these farmers are facing over in the Rift region. Drought and famine is also a conversation that we cannot run away from, and residents in Mandera County are now suffering to an extent of taking a journey of kilometers into the border of Ethiopia, where they can quench their thirst and also secure some water for domestic use. So that's an issue that is currently ongoing in Mandera County and several other counties, as we know, 23 plus, who are suffering from this very dire situation. The shortage of rains also not helping the situation at all. If the March-April rains fail, we can expect that this is going to be worsening into the coming days. Already in Nairobi County and its outskirts of Kiambu and others which are on the borderline there's water rationing which is happening all across the board. So we are experiencing a dire situation not only in some of the counties which we're always labeling as the ones affected, but also in the capital city as well as major regions all over the country. So we're hoping that we can expect rains back, but we'll be hearing from the government in its strategies and any measures they have towards saving lives and also ensuring that those who are in dire situations of drought and famine are having relief coming their way. Counties have been allocated 385 billion in the next financial year, and you can expect that this is in official news, of course, from the national government, its disbursement into county government. So hold all your officials, the MCAs, the members of parliament, the governors, and everyone who is expected to be delivering in those counties. How much of this 385 billion do you think is going to be unaccounted for? Money that will be later on or there will be no trail of where this money went to. However, please ensure that this 385 billion is well accounted for by all those stakeholders and people who are supposed to deliver their mandate to the people. County government, that is what you can expect in the next financial year. DP Gachagua is making headlines here on the Standard, and the question that they're asking is joker or rogue deputy president. The case of Rigathi Gachagua, the deputy president, who has now come off as a straight talker or a man who shoots from the hip. His remarks and actions since the days that Kenya Kwanza took over the government last year in August to this date have been very controversial, to say the least. But also the question being asked is he joking or is he actually being rogue in his mandate? Some of those remarks we'll be having a look at later on the show, on the newspaper review, and we'll be getting to react to the sentiments in his words and what he's been saying across the board, from issues of matatu ban in Nairobi to others of labeling the government as a company with shareholders and rewarding Kenya Kwanza voters who are deserving of reaping the benefits of the Kenya Kwanza government. We'll be analyzing what DP Gachagua really means, whether he's being honest or he's just shooting from the hip and being rogue in his position as the deputy president. Matters of tax are also something that is very huge in the Kenya Kwanza government. President William Ruto has been chasing down or trying as hard as he can to crack down on some of those who are evading tax or who've not been previously put under the tax bracket. And now there are various measures, of course, that we've experienced in the past few months that the Kenya Kwanza government has been in power, expanding of the tax base to include more goods and products. There were rumors or fears of tax increment across various products. However, it seems that also, according to the Financial Standard here, I was having a look at it just a few minutes ago, the government might be taking a turnaround in this situation or in this strategy of increasing tax in a tactical retreat, where the state now plans to scrap subsidies which have been in place for kerosene and diesel to ensure that they do not increase taxes, however, to lower taxes so that we can have incentive for people to avoid taxes. So the issue is not to increase taxes, according to the CS, or the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, saying that high taxes will not really give a high tax revenue, but if they lower the tax, they can eventually get to rationalize the tax rates by moving more goods into the tax base and also encouraging Kenyans to submit what is due to the government in terms of taxes. And one of the things that have happened now is the great Pandora box of land taxation. President William Ruto has now opened Pandora's box, which has been avoided by many of his predecessors who have taken helm of leadership in the country, and his previous attempts to ensure that those who are not submitting private land taxes do so. In his latest remarks, we shall be looking at that controversy over taxation and land size, which will be touching on the size of private lands and also on who can own such sizes of land and what is happening in terms of settlement of squatters. That's a very big conversation which I know will be expecting uproar from various key players, and we've had this discussion with various other media personalities, and we'll be bringing this onto perspective here on the show. The controversial land issue in Kenya, President William Ruto finally having a look at that. So these are some of the stories that we'll be having a look at on Biashara Tuesday, as we also try to interpret and predict what will be happening in the coming few days in matters of policies which are here from our government, and also what is happening in global economics and global politics. KRA is employing sniffer dogs to catch cash for those people who are hiding cash in their bags, and that's another measure to ensure that more people are brought under the tax bracket and no one is engaging in money laundering and evading tax. Remember, the law requires you to only carry 1.2 million Kenyan shillings in cash. So if you are going anywhere above that, the government suspects that you are into some unscrupulous dealings, any money laundering business activities. So there are sniffer dogs here who are going to be used to be checking bags as they enter into border points across the country, SGR, and also at the airport. That's a story that's on the Business Daily, and we'll be also including it in the conversations that will be happening here on Biashara Tuesday. Welcome to the show. That's just a roundup of what you can expect all the way to the end. Right about now, just to have a look at what's happening on the roads, courtesy of Ma3 route, informing you of current transport and traffic conditions in the city, what you can expect in terms of weather, also having a look at that, and then giving you alternative routes. We'll be back to see also what's happened in the news for the past 24 hours. News updates coming to you from KUTV Rise Today. Alafu, tunarudisha conversation back to Biashara Tuesday. Have a conversation, hear what you have to say, and also maybe share a few insights here and there on how you can improve your businesses. Welcome to the show. I'll be your host all the way to the end. My name is Richard OKENYE. Tag me at Richard_OKENYE. Let's kick it off. Ma3 route here, current transport and traffic conditions for the city. Before I get into that, the officials are now saying that there is a new earthquake that is expected in southern Turkey. So that's continuing to happen even as lives have been lost in what has already been a very troubling situation over in Turkey and Syria. So there's more of that that is going to be happening in the southern part of that place. So if you have relatives or friends who are in Turkey, please make sure you're checking up on them, as you've seen that there's lives being lost on this very terrible situation happening over in Turkey. A forecast from the Kenya Met Department, which is giving me meteorological information and what you can have in terms of scientific knowledge into the future. Rainfall expected over some parts of the highlands west of the Rift Valley, Lake Victoria Basin, South Rift Valley, and isolated areas of the highlands east of Rift Valley as well. So the rest of the country is expected to remain generally sunny and dry from 21st to 27th February 2023. So where you can expect rain is around Lake Victoria, the highlands west of Rift Valley, South Rift Valley, and isolated areas of the highlands east of the Rift Valley. 7 days of that from the 21st of 27th, and I have this map here with me. I'll be retweeting it on my timeline. Average daytime temperatures are expected to go high as well, to more than 30 degrees over most parts of the country, except those ones that I've mentioned, and to be at a moderate of between 25 to 30. Lows, average night time expected to go to less than 10 degrees Celsius over several parts of Rift Valley as well. So there's no hopes of rain coming to most parts of the country in any of the few days that are remaining in this month. So the drought and famine situation is going to bite even a little bit harder. Let's get to look at traffic now. Thika Road and traffic is just the order of the day, as we also always check here. Sylvia Kwambuka is on the road telling me that kuna kaa vibaya sana. Scenes from Rongai yesterday as residents were doing demonstrations due to poor conditions of that road, and I think this is a great start according to Mwenyeji. These are Mwenyeji's sentiments, saying this is a great start. They need to block Magadi Road and Masai Lodge Road for this demo to be serious. So residents there conducting demonstrations yesterday, burning tires on the road and also blocking traffic to ensure that their grievances are heard. Watu wako parking lot pale Kiambu Road, Powell and Jugush, sending here an image where both roads looking like traffic is hitting hard. Looking at traffic in Nairobi, the government's failure to continue with decongestion projects on claims of protecting Matatu will ultimately hit back hard. Sahi, we are stuck with 3 C's on traffic. 3 C's in traffic. Sirens are muted. So I think he's complaining that the government officials are also creating lots of traffic with the motorcade. This is Koech Bernard. Kiambu Road is not moving at all. Thika Road is a mess. So if you use Kiambu Road from Thika Road, please stick to Thika Road. Today Kiambu Road is a mess. Yoni, another one informing you of that situation between Thika Road and Kiambu Road. A matatu here, which has been very careless in driving and picking of passengers on the highway, belonging to, I can't see the circle, so I will be checking that out a bit later so that we can shame them here on air. Mombasa Road, kumeshikana pia. Alternative route ya Mombasa Road ni expressway, so unaweza lipa pale 180 bob, I think, for a one-way ticket on the ETC. On the MTC, I think it's probably 3,000 bob by now per month, so you can get that automatic card which will be allowing you to access all parts of the expressway. Any more information here? I'm seeing greasy accident at Garden City's roundabout, and schools are injured with very serious cut wounds. Schools or school children, be careful when approaching. I'd love to get more information on that road traffic accident also happening here at Nairobi Nakuru Highway. So kauna unaelekea your side past the Mau Summit, involving a sugar transit trailer and a PSV ferrying passengers. Road is slippery because the trailer has veered off the road and is now down. That's as much as I could get on what is happening on the major roads this morning. If you have any more information, please do let us know as we go on with the show. Right about now, a roundup of those news updates, and then we can get back to Biashara Tuesday. All right, good morning. I'm already receiving feedback from people who are tuned in to the show, so it's important that I quickly mention them. Anfani Onamu, asante sana for tuning in from all the way in Kino. Sijui kama mko na stima hiyo side, huwa kuna shida sana. Brayo, tuning in from Kiambu. So Kiambu, is it town, county, or where exactly are you watching this show from? Ozu, also watching the show for the first time. I know he's watching for other reasons. We have an unfinished business, but thank you for tuning into this show. This is Sheila. I am watching the show from somewhere in Nakuru. So tell us exactly where in Nakuru it is, and we'd be loving to hear from you. Those are WhatsApp messages directly sent to me. If you can send also to the KUTV SMS on WhatsApp platforms, we'll be really happy to have a look at that. Remember, we are going to have a look at the newspapers headlines on what is happening in the dailies. So if you have a copy of any of this morning and or the e-paper, which should be cheaper. This is at 60 shillings now all across the dailies, but the e-paper should be somewhere between 10 shillings and 20 bob. Get me the headlines and also your reactions as we get to have this discussion with Eric Masharia. He's been here before with us, and a political analyst, very informed in matters of politics, and also from the side of Azimio, giving us what kind of progress they are doing there, and also what his reactions are to the Kenya Kwanza government, but also a broader analysis on what the politics are going to inform in matters of business into the coming few days. So that's a conversation you can expect to happen here on the show. Remember, we have a launch section where we get to sit down with experts and also other key players in business, and also any other interesting areas in the economy. And this morning I'll be having a discussion with Julia Wambui, who's a lecturer and a chairperson of the Department of Physical Education and Exercise and Sports Science. That is the Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science at Kenyatta University. We're going to have a look at a bit of technology in their gym management system. How does it work, and what kind of work does it deliver to the members of the Greater Kenyatta University, and also, of course, the student fraternity. That conversation is coming to you, and we'll be pairing it up with matters of beauty, having a look at the business of beauty, the growth of the beauty industry, a conversation that I'll be having with Isaac Mugereki, who is a beautician and also a trainer. So those who are interested into venturing into the field of beauty, how has the industry been for the past few years, and of course what you can expect in trends and how to adjust effectively if you're getting into the business, but also if maybe you're just a key enthusiast in matters of beauty. So all that is happening. Please do send in your questions in any of these discussions that we'll be having, and we'll love, of course, to share them with the guests and have what their answers, or hear what the answers are like. Right about now, those news updates are coming to you. Don't go too far. All right, now we begin with matters of elections and the IEBC, the tribunal that is tasked to investigate the 4 independent electoral and boundaries commissioners who rejected the August 2022 presidential polls, has concluded its hearings and now will retire to deliberate and make appropriate recommendations to the president as is required by the law. The High Court Judge Agri Mushelule and his team are expected to prepare and submit a report on the remaining IEBC commissioners, and this story is coming to you.
The Muchelule-led tribunal ended its hearing today after an extensive sitting to investigate on the remaining IEBC Commissioner Irene Masit, with focus now shifting to the direction the tribunal will take on Commissioner Irene Masit's suitability. According to Justice Agri Muchelule, the tribunal will retire to deliberate and make appropriate decision to the president as is required by law. In her final submission to the court, embattled Irene Masit made a final attempt to convince the tribunal that she was not guilty as charged. Through lawyer Donald Kipkorir, Masit said there was no evidence produced to show her guiltiness and gross misconduct in the August 9 presidential election, which saw her and 3 other commissioners differing with the results. Kipkorir said the petition before the tribunal was not based on any law. The tribunal-led counsel Peter Munge urged the tribunal to rule out Masit as not suitable to be a commissioner and recommend her removal from office. Munge said Masit does not realize or accept that she breached the law. The tribunal is now to be awaited to make a decision on Masit's case. However, the tribunal did not indicate when the report will be ready. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
All right, in security, the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has announced an operation to tame fake contractors and illegal immigrants and other producers of illicit brews in Kiambu County. The CS also says the rate of buildings collapsing in the county has raised concern, and he says the government will not relent to greedy landlords and contractors who put lives of Kenyans at risk.
The government has continued with its efforts of stamping out illicit breed in the country and taming fake contractors and greedy landlords who put the lives of Kenyans at risk. Speaking during the opening of GSU Primary School in Ruiru, Kiambu County, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki says the government will not relent to fake contractors and greedy landlords who often put the lives of Kenyans at risk.
For that reason, we have declared an all-out war on contractors and builders who are defying government procedures in the construction industry.
The CSU ordered war on illicit crackdown in Kiambu County early this month, ensured the residents of Ruiru on its commitments to eradicate illicit liquor in the region, and further urged police officers to intensify patrols and nab those in the illegal business.
Tumetangaza vita vilevile kupigana na wale ambao wanauzia watoto wetu pombe ambaye si haramu, haijapimwa, haiko na afya.
Kindiki was in company of other state officials including Principal Secretary of Education Belio Kipsang, promised the county government of Kiambu, Board of Management of the newly opened school, the support from the government to ensure the academic institution achieves its noble objectives.
And for that reason, we will go out of our way to make sure that we support this school together with the other partners, the Ministry of Education, the county government of Kiambu, the Board of Management of the school, Teacher Service Commission.
Professor Kindiki, however, called on the residents to join hands in planting trees to curb the effects of climate change in the country. Israel Omwai, KUTV.
All right, away from illicit brew in Kiambu County. Also, I thought that CS Interior was supposed to be camping in the North Rift region to ensure that we are dealing with bandits as soon as possible. However, maybe, of course, his job description is wide. It's expected that he's in other places in the country. Now, if you wanted to complete school, or if you wanted to go through higher institution of learning in Kenya, this is the time, and also probably the last time that you can do it in an affordable rate. University students across the country are likely to pay more school fees following the recommendations by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms. The proposal, which was handed over to the president last week, noted a shortfall in universities' funding and also recommended the writing off of huge debts which are owed by universities to the statutory bodies. Let's have a look.
In its second interim report, the Presidential Working Party on Educational Reforms recommended an increase in fees paid by the government-sponsored students in universities from the current 16,000 to 52,000 shillings per semester. The report further urged the government to increase funding of education at the university level, which currently falls below the institution's needs. According to the task force, from the academic year 2018-2019 to the 2022-2023 one, the government failed to fund public universities with a total of 164 billion shillings. The private universities fared better with a funding deficit of 56 billion over the same period. Beyond funding issues, the task force also recommended that huge debts owed by university to statutory bodies should be written off. The debts currently stand at 56 billion shillings, including deductions from pensions, National Health Insurance Fund NHIF, National Social Security Fund NSSF, among others. As per the report, the government should aim at increasing the enrollment of students in teachers' training colleges, which currently stands at 3,922 students in 34 institutions. The institutions could accommodate up to 26,650 students. The report further stated that to expand vocational training, the government should establish a national polytechnic in every county, a techno-vocational college in every constituency, and a vocational training center in each ward. The second report by the Presidential Working Party focused on higher education and reforms needed to make it better and affordable. The President and the Ministry of Education is yet to comment on the report. Ruth Wanjiru for KU TV.
As the world celebrates Social Justice Day, Kenyans, especially parents and youth from Mathare constituency, converged at the offices of the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, petitioning the lack of school fees for pupils who are joining junior secondary school and Form 1. They are stating that the money from the government is not enough to fully facilitate the transitioning. Edward Nyamu has this report.
As a way of celebrating World Social Justice Day, residents of Mathare constituency marched to the offices of the Deputy President to present their petition, asking the government to intervene and fund the children of the less fortunate who are yet to join Form 1 and Junior Secondary. This comes after the government announced that it would ensure that there was 100% transition for every student transitioning from one level of education to another.
Kiangalia hapa mbele yetu tuko na wanafunzi ambao wanafaa kuwa shule, lakini mambo ya school fees imekuwa problem sana na tunafeel hiyo ni injustice kwa watoto wa Mathare. So leo tumetembea kukuja kuleta barua yetu kwa Deputy President kuaddress hali ya masomo Mathare.
Katika katiba article 55 access to education for our young people is important. Lakini hii mwaka tumeona kuwa kuna watoto wengi hawajaingia shule juu ya fee.
After discussions with the office of the Deputy President through the Director of Administration, Mr. Okoth was assured that the matter will be taken into effect within 7 days, with the government expected to profile the affected pupils before coming up with a solution on the same.
Barua yetu imepokelewa vizuri na tumekubaliana kwamba in the next 1 week pamoja na regional commander tuna set up a team ya watu wa 10 ambao watatusaidia kukam na solution na pia kuprofile wale watoto ambao hawaendi shule.
According to the residents' plea, National Government Constituency Development Fund NGCDF money is not enough as admission fees becoming hard to raise, particularly by families from poor backgrounds. In addition, the residents want the national government to help provide books in schools and ensure disbursement of NGCDF money is on time to ease the fee burden.
Watoto wetu wanahangaika, hatuna kazi, unapata mtoto amesoma lakini anaokota hizi scrap. Haendi shule juu ya school fees.
Na sisi tunaomba usaidizi kwa Gachagua tusaidie. Sisi tunataka watoto waende shule. Sisi ni wasichana wadogo, vijana wadogo wanauliwa, ni waizi na wamesoma.
Tunataka masomo.
The government is now expected to discuss measures that will be taken to ensure that children from poor neighborhoods are recognized by the government so that they can get fully facilitation from the government.
Well, speaking of people and storming places, angry villagers yesterday morning stormed Ulumbi High School in Gem-Yala sub-county to protest over the posting of a new principal at the school by the Teacher Service Commission, whom they referred to as a non-performer. The early morning incident brought business to a standstill at the school as the placard-waving parents and members of the local community vowed never to allow the new principal to carry out his duties.
Narok North Member of Parliament Agnes Bareyo and Narok Central Acting Deputy County Commissioner Ali Shakur, through the national government today, donated 300 bags of beans and 260 bags of rice to aid the people in most affected areas by drought in Narok sub-county. The areas included Ilmashariani, Limanet, Siebei, Olopito and Pulunga. Shakur thanked the government for distributing food to the vulnerable communities, saying that the chiefs, village elders, religious leaders and political leaders will help identify the most affected families that will benefit.
Nyumba 10 tunahusisha pia viongozi wa wanasiasa tukiongoza hapa na mheshimiwa kuhakikisha kwamba identify wale ambao kuna wale wa mama ambao ni single mothers ambao hawana wazee, mayatima, hata mashule.
The Narok North Legislature Agnes Bareyo thanked the national government for the food donations, pointing out that many families who depend on small businesses for their livelihoods had nothing to place on the table. At the same time, she pleaded with business people not to hike prices of foodstuffs so as not to make life more difficult for the residents.
Yangu ni kuambia serikali waangalie wananchi kwa sababu hatuoni mvua ikinyesha na hakuna chakula tunaona kwa mashamba. Kwa hivyo wanafikiri kwa kile assignable serikali hakikisha ya kwamba kuna chakula.
Residents of Narok County expressed their gratitude to the government, recounting how area residents have gone to bed on empty stomachs for days due to the prevailing drought and hiked price of food.
Kuna watu wengi sana hapa wanaumia njaa, ni wale tu watu hawajisemi. Tunashukuru sana mama. Juu kweli wa mambo huo ni mama ya watu. Tunashukuru sana. Asanteni.
On Thursday last week, President William Ruto called upon development partners, the private sector and well-wishers to step forward and support the government in saving lives of those affected by the drought. Ruth Wanjiru for KU TV.
All right, those residents of Narok sub-county, of course, that story that we've just aired there, and following that other one by angry villagers who stormed Ulumbi High School. That brings us to the end of the updates this morning on KUTV Rise Today. Remember to continue tuning in. We are getting back to matters of business. The newspaper review section is coming up, so grab yourself a copy of the dailies. Maybe just a brief look as we top it up with those news updates. The Daily Nation says here big names in race for CAS. So here, the cabinet or the chief administrative secretary position is now expected to be, or appointments are already ongoing. There's a short list here, and I'll be reading through it to see who's going to make it in the final list by President William Ruto. The Business Daily headline here: KRA 6 sniffer dogs to catch cash which is hidden in bags. The Standard: Joker or rogue DP. The case of Gachagua. Deputy President has been making a couple of remarks all across the nation, from media interviews to public gatherings to even private conversations, and some of them are privy to the public, and will be dissecting them later with Eric Masharia. So don't go too far. Get yourself the People's Daily, the Star, the East African Standard, and we'll be comparing the headlines and also getting to see what your reactions are looking like. Taking a short break, a cup of coffee, and then back with more. Don't go too far.
So once we do the balancing during the layering. So once we put the animal manure layer, we again repeat the process of wetting with the microorganisms. We add the eggshells and a little bit of wood ash, and then now we go to the green matter section. The green waste is not just only crops, but we also look for indigenous plants that have high nutrient value. So we also incorporate that in the green matter layer. And once we do that layer, we also again water with the microorganisms, the eggshells, the wood ash, and the layer continues until we reach the height that we desire. After that, we cover just to increase the temperatures.
Fashionistas, looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you sorted as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Catch me, Ashley, as Sachi, as we unlock the greatest fashion event. Keep it locked.
Lola ni programu inayokupa fursa ya kutizama video zozote pindi tu unapokuwa na nafasi. Hadithi za kukupa motisha, drama, maisha ya vyuo vikuu, teknolojia, masuala ya jamii, kuzuru maeneo tofauti, spoti, burudani na zaidi. Pata programu ya Lola sasa kwenye rununu yako kwa yote unayohitaji.
Kurunzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
Karibu kwenye mitindo ya kipwani. Yaani unavyoona basi niko kipwani pwani tu.
Unapopika inatakana uko half cooked. Tui ni nazi imekunwa, inawekwa kwa hii samaki juu. Wewe mwenyewe ukiangalia samaki, mtazamaji, utaona vile inapendeza.
Niko Kilifi, niko katika kaunti ya Kilifi, Magavazi ya Gede.
Samaki mwenyewe ndio huyo kidogo. Samaki kidogo iko na maajabu kwa sababu ni tumbo yake iko juu ya kichwa.
Karibu sana kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV, ukiwa nami nahodha mwendesha chombo, si mwingine bali ni bibie ua linalonukia na kuvutia, Waridi Samu.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
We are in the streets of Nairobi. We want to find out how well do Kenyans know insurance. Come with me. Kuna life insurance?
Hiyo bado sijachukua mimi.
Na unajua insurance ni nini?
Insurance bado.
Kwa nini mtu anishua life yake kwa nini? Kwa nini sasa?
Sasa nikiishwa na sina mtu. Niki-insure hiyo life ni life insurance. Na sina mtu wa kuninia na atakula hizo do.
Nimewaacha mimi maisha na Mungu.
Uone ni kama una risk.
Wacha ni risk. Hata captain akienda kama ako pale juu ya ndege huwa na risk.
Life insurance policy touted as a must-have by insurance companies, but the target customers may be thinking otherwise, with conspiracy theories making it even more controversial.
Every Kenyan fears to die. So nobody will mtu akisikia ati anachukua life insurance atasikia nikufe.
Better still, some skeptics say it might be important after all.
But anyway, people guys, take life insurance. It's good.
There you have it. Now, join me on KTV this Monday at 9 p.m. as we talk about life insurance only on Money Monday.
Yeah, we're okay. We are glad that you're still tuned into Biashara Tuesday. Maybe a quick shout out to some guys here who have been following the broadcasting on our live streams at YouTube and also Facebook. Shikamaru, that's his name, or his username on Twitter, but also going by Wechuli_Eugene. Tuned in to Biashara Tuesday by Richard OKENYE. Asante sana for tuning in. I'm seeing here he's tuned in through the YouTube live stream. Ed Lens on here as always. Amerudi watching the show. Anasema of course tuned in to Biashara Tuesday with the Money Man. Asante sana Ed Lens for creating time. Now we are going to be having a conversation I had said earlier on the gym management system by Kenyatta University, and Julia Wambui, who is a lecturer and chairperson of the Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science, Kenyatta University, will be helping me have a look at how that gym system, which has been in place since 2016, has been operating in the various campuses that Kenyatta University has. It's a web-based computer application that is designed for the gym. Prior to this rollout, they were experiencing a couple of challenges, which we'll also be looking at. If you are someone who's in this kind of business, you can see if you share in the challenges and also what you can pick in matters of solutions in how this one has been implemented. So tune in for that conversation. But before we get into it, the third edition of Duos Festival will be held in Mombasa and Kilifi in February, with the final presentation on March 1st in Mombasa and March 4th in Kilifi. So Kenyan and Polish artists will once again test the possibilities of artistic cooperation in a transcultural perspective. This time, they will focus on the principles of social ecology. These duos will lead teams of interns from Pwani University and the Technical University of Mombasa in art-making workshops with presentations sites which are set for Kilifi and Nyali at a satellite event, the Lampart Short Film Festival, which will award films selected by an open call. And this is, of course, films made by university students and coastal filmmakers. This third edition of the Duos Festival is organized in collaboration with Alliance Francaise in Mombasa. All right, so if you are an enthusiastic filmmaker or someone in the coastal region, students from Pwani University, you can be checking out this Duos Festival as it's happening, and also ensure you get to that final happening in Mombasa in 1st of March, as I said there, and also 3rd at Kilifi. So Kilifi, Mombasa, and the larger coastal region, people should be excited in how this is going to be happening. Social ecology, and of course a transcultural experience between art makers and filmmakers from Poland and also in Kenya. So tune in to that festival and tell us how your experience was like. We're coming back with that gym system conversation, a web-based application that is being used by Kenyatta University to manage the various gyms they have in different campuses. And we are having that conversation here with our guests. So if you have any questions, please send them to us on the broadcast. We are still streaming KUTV Kenya on Facebook and also KUTV Kenya Live on YouTube. I'll be right back. Here on SMS/WhatsApp numbers, already more of it coming in, even through Twitter at KUTV Kenya. Now Napa Bio also tuning in. I'd love to know where you're tuning in. Bio 23. Now the rest who are on Facebook, I haven't even taken a look at those comments, and also on the SMS. So I'll be back with you in a short while. Here I have with me Julia Wambui, who is a lecturer and chairperson at the Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science at Kenyatta University. We're having a look at the gym management system that is being deployed by Kenyatta University. But first, of course, we get to know what is the importance of this system and how it is like for physical exercise, sports, and all of that in Kenyatta University, and how that is being handled under this department. And then we can have a look at that gym management system. So if you're a gym business person who's also maybe looking to employ technology into aspects of running that business, please don't go too far. This is the conversation for you. But first, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm well.
Yes.
Yes.
How's the year taking you? I think it's still early enough to ask that.
Yeah, we are now into the second month of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say I'm pretty much working on my resolutions. And I'm heading there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm hoping, of course, one of those resolutions are physical exercise. You being someone who's in this department, how's that going with also maybe matters of management and running the school?
Oh yes, one of the concerns is just to have maybe an increased number of our clientele in our gyms, both internally and externally. Yeah, because we can never speak much about fitness. It's something that is ongoing. And it's a process.
All right.
So we need so much of consistency. Yes.
Consistency is really important, even in realizing all the other resolutions that people make at the beginning of the year. You are the head of department?
Yes.
Yes. What happens under your department? Physical exercise, sports, and all of. Is it teaching or is it practical based?
Good question. I'm Dr. Julia Gidanga, the chairperson in our department. In our department, there is actually 3 pillars. There's teaching. Like all departments in the university, there's teaching. Then we have now research, and there's community mobilization. So it is an entity whereby now we're able to run across the different disciplines. Yes, in teaching, in research, and in community, mobilization.
All right, that's
Yes.
good. By community mobilization, do you mean the community within Kenyatta University or also anyone else who has access?
Actually, both.
Okay.
Yes, community can be now our other students beyond our department of students. Could be our staff, and now could be now the outside our clients.
All right.
Yes.
Before we get into, I'm really interested in this story of physical education and exercise, which is, I think, largely ignored by students. I'll have to say, even from way back when I remember in high school, physical exercises were not really a session where people go to take care of their body, maybe do cardio. It's just a break that people need to take away from learning. So how would you say it's important maybe for the larger community of students and others who are within Kenyatta University who might not be taking this as a course or something they want to venture into a career? What's the importance of physical education and exercising as they pursue the rest of their goals?
Thank you for the question. Beyond career, physical exercise is very important for health reasons. We realize that when we talk about wellness, we have different dimensions of wellness. There are 7. And physical wellness is just one of them. And here we look at physical fitness and your ability now to overcome the prevalence of what we call lifestyle diseases.
Right.
So when we teach, actually we tell our students that first of all, you need to achieve fitness for your own health and well-being. It is not about sports and fitness per se.
Okay.
For starters, it's achieving your, that success into ensuring that you are able to live a life of good quality and keep at bay most of these lifestyle diseases, like maybe obesity, hypertension, which are very prevalent even in our youth, actually. Then beyond that now, we have now those who are interested in sports.
Okay.
So for them now, they can go into the sports-related fitness.
Okay.
So actually, like you've just mentioned, it's an area that's quite misunderstood. People would think it's about just playing, going to the field, throwing a ball here and there, going to the pool, splashing water around. But it's beyond that.
Okay.
There are things we call principles of training to help you now achieve your health gains.
Okay.
Yes, so actually in our area, a few years ago, like when I was a student here, in our class, we were like 6 people in our class, 2 ladies and 4 gents.
Wow.
But now with the time...
Oh, a whole class.
A whole
pursuing
class.
This course. Okay.
Yes, a whole class. But now with the time, the numbers have increased.
All right.
And now thanks to CBC, it's now a full-fledged career. So they're even more in numbers.
Okay.
And we are glad people have come now with the notion that now it's about more of health, well-being, and improving the quality of life.
Right. It's not about being sporty or gaining muscles or maybe building up your mass. It's something beyond that. And I think it's a very key point or a takeaway for even business people.
Yes.
People who might be watching the show. It's important they also take care of their physical and also improve their lifestyle so that they can keep at bay these lifestyle diseases that you've just mentioned there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So be picking up. So it's not just about those who are venturing into this business, but also as a business person, as a young person, as she said, of course, young people also are prone to these lifestyle diseases. How do you keep them at bay, ensuring that your fitness is also in check? Now, prior to the rollout of this system, which is this web-based computer application that has been designed for Kenyatta University's gym management, you had trouble, or the institution had trouble in managing of their clientele or the people who are getting access to these services. Maybe how can we have a brief look into what those problems are? We see if they resonate with the people who are running this kind of business as well.
Yes. To start with, we had cash transactions, and we all know the challenges we get when you have cash transactions. So this application has actually helped to minimize, to phase out all cash transactions. The challenge we had was now keeping track of our teaching equipment, our learning equipment, and those equipment used for wellness programs. So you see, we have students who come and borrow for class purposes. We have staff who come and borrow for wellness programs and so on. So we couldn't keep on manually keeping track of those equipment, how the movement in and out.
Okay.
So it was challenging at that point. So these are challenges we have actually come to realize this system has helped to phase out.
Okay.
Yes.
Sort of automating some of those processes which will take longer to do in person.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm seeing some of the things that it comes with this web-based application. First of all, is this something that you access on the website, or do they have to download an application?
What we do actually from our end, if I can start, this is a system that is 2 parts for us. It is a KU gym management system. It's KU based, but I want to believe it can be actually tailor-made for other business enterprises.
All right.
So for us, it is KU gym management system, which comes into 2 parts. We have the KU inventory management system and the KU gym management system. So there are 2. So we access from the website that is pims.ku.ac.ke. So once we log in with our username and our password, now we have the 2 parts. We have the inventory management system and we have the gym management system.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the inventory system, it is quite detailed. We have different options and different ways that you can access what we have in terms of our equipment available in our gym.
All right.
For starters, we have a tab on stock. So here you're able to see what is available in our store in terms of what is in stock, out of stock, for example, damaged, or even lost.
Okay.
So this one keeps actually a very detailed record of the stock in general. We also have tabs on issuance of our equipment. Now this is now when students come, you see in our classes we have class reps who are actually in charge of the equipment. So they come, we have the records of their numbers, the admission numbers. So we're able to access and see what they have taken, what they haven't returned, and what they have returned. So when they come, we're able to access using their number and issue the equipment as per their learning demands.
All right.
Then we have a tab on transaction, still on the inventory. Now this shows the flow in terms of the returned equipment and the unreturned equipment. We also have a tab which now is about the members, and the members now can include you, for example, as a staff of KU, myself as a faculty member, and our students. So you are free to come and borrow what you think you want to use for your wellness, but you'll have to return. So we can keep that track of what is borrowed by faculty, by students, or even by external clients. But they have to be returned.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this is the inventory side.
Yes, that's the inventory side.
Pure inventory. And the other part now?
Now, the other part is about now the running of the gym in terms of services. You see, in our area, we are into 2 areas. We are into products, that is now the equipment, when we issue, when we receive them back, when we buy them. And then we have the gym management system. Now it's about offering our services to our members. Now, in the management inventory and management side, the gym management side, here we have 4 areas that this system can be able to assist us. One, fitness goals. Fitness goals.
Okay.
You
Just
see,
like we spoke there on resolution.
Yes, yes, it's a tab on goals. You see, when we went manual that time, it was manual, we had difficulty keeping up track of our clients in terms of their achievement of their fitness goals. You see, you can come to the gym, and maybe you want to gain weight on a light note.
Yes,
you want to gain weight.
I actually do. You hit it spot on.
I didn't see that coming. Yes. So you need to first take your entry behavior, how you come. We do tests like your weight, your height, we get your BMI and some of other, measurements.
Yes.
So we know where you want to get. So when you come to our gym now, we know where to put you. Are you a beginner, intermediate, or advanced? So that tab is very efficient in letting us know how you are coming in. Then from there, you're able to keep track of your achievement.
Okay.
So you see, that's very pretty good for our students, for our members, and for everyone who is going to use the gym.
All right.
Yes.
So they can get to also see their own fitness goals, but on your side, you can help them as well, keeping track.
Our fitness instructors will be able to go a mile further and assist. Yes.
Okay. So apart from fitness goals, what else can we expect on this other side?
Yes. On that side, on the management system, we also have now the members, the membership. Let me say this, we actually have over 2,500 registered members. Now, this is in 3 cohorts. We have the students base, then we have the staff from KU, and we have alumni and other external clients. So we're able to track how we are faring on in terms of our membership. And that is a very important tool when you want to see where we are at the beginning of the year, maybe mid-year, and at the end of the year.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's also helpful for your own goals.
Yes, even for our own stock taking.
Okay.
Yes.
As well. Who's is every person assigned a trainer, or is there a trainer for everyone? This is just maybe to ask on apart from the system.
We have 11 fitness trainers, instructors. But the job description is to be present during training sessions. We open our gym from 8 to 8 weekdays, then 9 to 5 p.m. on Saturdays.
All right.
So these instructors work in shifts. So at any one time when you go to the gym, you'll find someone there to assist you as you work out. So they help and give advice and guide on the proper way of doing the exercises, of using the facility, whether you want to do the cardio, if you want to go to the resistance training, or you want to go to the aerobic studio. They'll give you adequate information, proper guidance. However, if you want it to be now a personal training thing, it's up to arrange beyond that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So there's you can make that arrangement separately, but already I think most of what anyone who is going to the gym needs is already provided here. And I'm seeing there's also a payment tab, payment report tab, expired membership report, and goals tab, as you mentioned there, which incorporates everyone's initial fitness goals and also finally where they can get to in terms of that journey towards fitness. When we spoke about inventory, there was a lot of data there that you were talking about. Who's taking this data and who's updating it? Because I'm sure even on taking track of fitness goals, there's someone who needs to key in that data. Do you have a team dedicated for that, or the trainers do that?
Yes, actually we have 4 gyms, gymnasia, actually in our university. We have the main gym we call the students' gym. It's a big capacity gymnasia. Then we have the alumni gym. We have the staff gym. It's a providence of the staff, and then we have the central admin gym for the KU management. Now for these 4 gymnasia, we have 2 gym attendants who work in shifts. There are 2 gym attendants, and then we have an overall gym manager. Now the people who take stock of the information as it comes and it goes out, now we have our gym manager, we have the gym attendants who are stationed where now this system is positioned squarely at the students' gym, but it's able to make information to other gymnasia as they are, but the central place. So we can get that information from the from the students' gym, the main gym.
Okay.
Then they can now relay the information out to the gym manager, and there's that now connection between the two attendants and the gym manager.
Sounds very seamless there
very.
and airtight.
Yes.
I'm loving how it's all been packaged. Now that you've incorporated, including payment tabs, I think this is cashless transactions, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, has it now overly improved the revenue streams of the gyms?
Yeah, it has, but there are also other challenges because, as we know, the economy is pretty down at the moment, so we don't have very many new members. But so far, so good. It has really worked very well. But the challenge we have is it's cashless, yes. So we have our members pay at the National Bank, and they come with a deposit slip. We are all human, so you realize some have misplaced, some receipts have been defaced. So obviously we tell them to go back for another receipt, a slip. So getting a new slip, it is cost. Actually, it is cost.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought it's
so
just another photocopy.
No, photocopy. No, they pay 360 shillings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you realize there's that challenge of helping these members, find it very seamless in terms of now receiving the new payments. So for payments, we have new members. For new members, we receive new payments and we add new members. Then we have the continued members, in which case for these members tab, we now add new payments.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Cutting down on paperwork is something that I've noted there. Of course, when we go cashless, it means there's less of writing, including even the fitness goals, tracking down inventory. I'm sure there's less of writing, unlike what I'm doing here, and more of something that's computerized and automated. In terms of embracing technology now, that as a whole, for someone else who's looking to learn from the steps that are being taken by the gym, this gym management system, how would you speak on the overall improvement of service delivery and also maybe management between the teams, generally speaking on how technology has been able to improve the facility?
For starters, we've had this very big area of challenge called QMS, meeting our quality management standards and meeting the ISO standards. So whenever you want now to actually give feedback on our financial accounting, it's very easy when we use now the automated system.
Okay.
Because you only now get the records, you print and you forward. Yes, and now you're able to know how you are faring on and where you need to correct and work on. So it has become very handy when it comes to meeting those quality standards.
Okay.
Yes, reducing paperwork, very true. We are going less of paperwork, actually the whole campus.
Okay.
So for us, it is a plus.
All right.
Yes.
That's superb to hear. Of course, automation makes things faster and simpler and even more convenient for all those who are involved. In terms of membership now, the KU gyms are spread across the various campuses, right? Or 4 campuses?
No.
Okay.
Only main campus.
Only the main campus.
Only
this
the
is
main
working
campus.
for the gyms which are in the main campus.
Yes.
Okay. So is it open? So maybe someone is. There are 2 ways I want to ask this question. Maybe someone is in KM and wants to come through to the KU gym. Are they allowed, or is there a way they can get membership? Maybe someone who's not an alumnus of Kenyatta University or faculty or staff or a student. And maybe if they cannot, or if they still can access, are there ways to do some small cardio from home in the spirit of embracing technology? Is there a way that maybe these trainers are availing or are planning to avail some of their routines and regimens that people can follow through akiwa nyumbani, even including for a member maybe?
Okay, to start with the first question about someone in KM, yes, they can access. We have that option for the external clients who are not alumni and not students or not staff. So yes, they can access.
Okay.
So we have membership cards given, and again now we add them into our system as new members. And they can choose to come if they choose to come on Monday, they can use the gym the way they want, okay, in terms of their fitness goals.
All right.
However, we have 2 major sessions which are open to public who are members, including our staff.
Okay.
That is every weekday between 1 and 2 and 6 to 7 in the evening. So here we meet in the aerobic studio where we can have a very good aerobics dance, you can have Zumba dance, we can have the spin cycle, we can have various activities across all the days of the week, the 5 days of the week, the weekdays.
Okay.
So they are welcome for that, but it is on membership. Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
they have to
access.
visit PIMS.ku at ac.ke, or do they have to?
They have to come to the gym and get,
registration.
Registered. Yes, as they subscribe.
Okay.
Yes.
Superb.
To
And the second
be
part?
members. Yeah, the second part is about now if we have that provision for our services outside when you're in your comfort of your home.
Yes.
You realize we have very many programs which offer home, fitness and wellness programs. So even some of our staff usually have their own videos that they can give out for clients who are interested.
Okay.
Yeah, so for that one, they can see the instructors for that, home-based workout.
Definitely. Be checking that out as well. Get to discuss with the trainer, even including the other fitness goals, as you said, which might not be already within the routine. You can get to discuss and know how to adjust to that. Now, for the areas of improvement, are there maybe things so far as you've implemented this system that you feel could maybe take a few more add-ons in the future to improve service delivery, whether it's for the inventory or just services to the members?
Yes, as you all know, there's always room for improvement in all aspects of our life, even fitness-wise. There are challenges that you always need to work on to improve yourself.
Right.
So in this system, I would advocate for two main areas. One, if it is possible to have a way of merging our bank payment system with our gym management system, so that if I make payment, at the counter, I see the teller and I make my payment, is it possible to have it reflected automatically on my membership, portal at the gym?
Just like we do with school fee.
Exactly.
Okay.
If that is possible, it will be heavenly, because it will help us assist members even much more better.
Right.
Then number two, it's about, like I said earlier, it's a system which has two parts. We have the inventory side and we have the gym management side. And we realize we have the equipment mostly on the inventory side. But the gym also has its own equipment. But that system has no tab to look at the flow of equipment in and out from the gym. For example, our weighing scales, our mats, and some other equipment, they can't be accessed using the inventory side.
All right.
So if I come and borrow, for example, I have a judo competition and I want to borrow the judo mats, the system will not detect that because I won't be able to key in. Yes.
Okay.
So is it possible to have the two merged? It will make it easier to follow up on some of this equipment.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe those are just some of these areas. As you've said there, improvement is it's a lifelong process.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, so
yes.
you can improve this and then there will be something else also to add on that. But it's important that we know so far it's been working effectively.
It has.
And people can get to access that, as you said, those who are already members, PIMS.ku.
Yes, pims.ku.ac.ke.
All right, pims.ku.ac.ke. Be checking that out. Finally, maybe as we try and round up on that conversation, for guys who are opening gym, gym training centers or fitness locations and want to access this tech and build it up to fit what they want, is that something that's possible? They can have a conversation with the Kenyatta University or to you and your department?
Actually, yes. I would actually refer them to our KU management, particularly the corporate affairs section. They're very good at advising and offering these training on how they can be able to boost and beef up the system according to their needs. Is a new gym or a new fitness club or so on. So yes, possible to have that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that is the communication you have now on the system that has been operational in Kenyatta University in gym management, and this is situated, of course, on the main campus, the students' gym, the alumni gym, staff gym, and central administration gym, with a total of 2,500 members. So if you're not a member already, you're joining a large community of people who have already been enthusiasts in fitness and with trainers who are well versed in what they are delivering, and a whole department for support in other areas. If you want to pursue that as a career, or if you want to do some research on it, I'm pretty sure they can come through to your department and get to learn on maybe the science and every other thing that is beside the physical part of it.
They are most welcome.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for creating time for us this morning, and we are hoping that more people can get fit this year, including myself.
Can I say something more?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. The body that we have, is the only place that you have to live in. The only place. So let's take care of that body.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. That has hit close home, closer than I thought. That is Julia Wambui, the lecturer and chairperson in the Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science at Kenyatta University. We'll be uploading this conversation to YouTube. If you missed it, you can catch it up later. But going for that break, and then I'm coming back. I'm seeing Eric Masharia getting into studio. The newspaper review section is coming up, and there is another conversation that we'll be having later on beauty, the business of beauty. If you want to get into it, be tuning into the show. #Biashara Tuesday. Don't go too far.
Lola ni programu inayokupa fursa ya kutizama video zozote pindi tu unapokuwa na nafasi. Hadithi za kukupa motisha, drama, maisha ya vyuo vikuu, teknolojia, masuala ya jamii, kuzuru maeneo tofauti, spoti, burudani na zaidi. Pata programu ya Lola sasa kwenye rununu yako kwa yote unayohitaji.
The pioneer class of competency-based curriculum embraced the change into junior secondary school on January 30th, 2023 across the country.
Students in your country, Kenya, who have graduated today from primary school to junior secondary school.
The transition in the public schools and private schools are, however, different.
For the books, we are well equipped. We have already purchased the books that the learners are going to use.
You find that not all are coming with the requirements, but they are really trying.
But for the students, their excitement to be in secondary school is evident.
I feel like I'm at a higher level than when I was in primary. I'm happy to be in GSS.
With this big difference in private and public schools, should it be a worry to the active participants in the curriculum?
And the problems that it's facing, it's called teething problems.
Join Ruth Wanjiru on Tuesday, February 21st for this special feature at 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Sugri body, den den den.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Nakushukuru kwa moyo, Bwana wangu. Nakushukuru kwa
we are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technologies.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program.
Yay!
We're learning every day. Engine leads the way.
What's up, fashionistas? Looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you started as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Catch me, Ashley Asachi, as we unlock the greatest fashion events. Keep it locked.
We are in the streets of Nairobi. We want to find out how well do Kenyans know insurance. Come with me. Kuna life insurance?
Hiyo bado sijachukua mimi.
Oh, na unajua insurance ni nini?
Insurance bado.
Kwa nini mtu ainsure life yake kwani? Kwa nini sasa?
Sasa nikiinsure na sina mtu. Niki-insure hiyo life ni life insurance. Na sina mtu wa kuninia na atakula hizo udo.
Nimewaacha mimi ni maisha na Mungu.
Uone ni kama una risk.
Wacha ni risk. Hata captain akienda kama ako pale juu ya ndege huwa na risk.
Life insurance policy touted as a must-have by insurance companies, but the target customers may be thinking otherwise, with conspiracy theories making it even more controversial.
Every Kenyan fears to die. So nobody mtu akisikia ati anachukua life insurance atasikia nikufe.
Better still, some skeptics say it might be important after all.
But anyway, people guys, take life insurance. It's good.
There you have it. Now, join me on KTV this Monday at 9 p.m. as we talk about life insurance only on Money Monday.
Biashara Tuesday is back on air, and we are getting into this conversation on the newspapers. The Daily Nation, the Business Daily, and the Standard is what me and Eric Macharia have here with us. So if you get yourself any other copy, please do tell us. Also, you can have a look at yesterday's paper as well. Pia ukiangalia hiyo, ukiona kuna information which you can contribute to us here. It's important that you engage with us. The feedback platforms on social media at KUTV Kenya, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Richard_Okenye. Avush Banadi Lord tuned in live this morning. Good morning from Kasarani in Nairobi, enjoying the show Biashara Tuesday. Avush has been a very key audience member for Biashara Tuesday and Rise Today at large. So we're happy to see you here this morning as well. Tell us what you think about the headlines this morning, and I'll be reading them to you. The top stories, I already teased them, but we're having a look at that in a short while. Also tuning in is I see here Victor Malala has been here on the show before. Asante sana Victor Malala for tuning in pale na kuona on Twitter. I see Mihari Jason from all the way in J-Town. Bayo anasema jifunze kuwhistle, ujue kuwa dangerous people out here. I get what you're referring to. Whistling has become an economic activity in Kenya in the current times of TikTok trending and whatnot. Mao Tse-tung also tuning in. Thank you, Mao Tse-tung. I wonder where that name is from. Definitely not Kenyan. Ann Odida tuning into the show. Anasema nimpatie kalamu. You give me these pen. So some very nice looking Biashara Tuesday branded pens by there I have with me here. And I got them from one Miss Okumu, who was with us here, assistant producer some time back. Asante sana for delivering this. So if you have some gifts and you want to give them to me, don't be shy. Some money, M-Pesa, anything else, any branding for Biashara Tuesday, bring it through. I'm always happy to receive it here. But that aside, I'll be reading more feedback as we go on with the show. Please continue engaging with us. The Daily Nation, prioritizing big names in the race for CAS. In the short list is, let me see the exact number, which is on page 10, 224 Kenyans who have been shortlisted in this position of Chief Administrative Secretary. Former governors and scores of poll losers are among those who have been shortlisted days after the courts allowed President William Ruto to make these appointments, and that's on the top of the Daily Nation there. PSS invite 224 candidates for interviews, which are going to fill about 20 slots. Remember, we have 21 ministries in the country. The constitution allows a maximum of 22, and President William Ruto has 21 in his cabinet. So we are expecting at least 20 or to 21 to fill out those positions across the various ministries. At the corner of that front of the Daily Nation is an interesting story that I want us to look at with Eric Macharia. Uhuru is losing. I mean, the Mount Kenya region, you can expect a slip of tongue here and there with the relevant letters and and words. Yeah, I just remember the Heart the Band song, which says he can't say Njeri because that R might turn to an L and spoil the moment. So Uhuru is losing allies in the Mount Kenya region as his clout is dwindling in that political side. Is that true or not? Page 4 and 5 is detailing that. I'll be getting sentiments from Eric Macharia. A quick look into the other headlines as well. The Standard, Joker or Rogue DP, case of Gachagua. Whereas the president or the deputy president has come off as a straight talker or a man who shoots from the hip, his remarks and actions are increasingly seen as unsuitable for a person who's occupying the second highest position and the second most powerful office in the land. We'll be looking at his words and what kind of sentiments he's been spewing all across the media and also in public forums since he took power. At the right on that page, same page on the front page, there's an investigation report on the rampant exploitation of tea farmers, female tea farmers or tea workers over at mostly the Rift region, where managers are arm twisting them for sex for jobs, sex for tea farm jobs, and we'll be looking at that BBC investigative report. Business Daily, which is the last one I have here with me. KRA seeks sniffer dogs to catch cash hidden in bags. Remember, the law requires you to only carry an amount totaling up to 10,000 USD, and if you have anything above that, right now 10,000 USD should be close to 1.3 M, and you have any cash above that, you need to have already declared it. But if you don't, it's going to be labeled as money laundering, and KRA is amping the ante at its Customs and Border Control Department to ensure they are detecting any currency which is being moved across the border in terms of cracking down on tax evasion and money laundering, as I mentioned. So that's the top story on the Business Daily. But first, let's get to hear how a man like Eric is doing.
Man like Eric is doing very well.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, I'd like to say a very good morning to our viewers, and thank them for joining us as we do this, as we engage in this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
Still,
it's been quite a minute. Eh?
Yeah, you've umeingia chini ya maji. New resolutions nini.
Shughuli.
Yeah. Masani machache.
Yeah.
Masani machache. Shughuli ni mingi sana. All right, which is your most interesting headline? Tuanze na hiyo leo.
Maybe in terms of protocol, because I believe the Daily Nation has 2 presidents featuring on it. Maybe we could start with the Standard.
Okay.
Very interesting title: Joker or Rogue DP, case of Gachagua.
Before you answer, or before you get to read anything else, Joker or Rogue DP, let's answer the question. Joker or Rogue DP?
I believe he's serving his purpose.
Okay.
You will, if you look at it, especially from in relation and in respect with how the two who are currently in control of the presidency did their campaigns last year. You'd see one of them will try to portray himself as really moderate, calm, and all that, and then the other was really basically the big stick at the end of the carrot.
Okay.
So I think it's probably going on with the same thing, because he's able to give views in a way that probably the president in his capacity would not be able to.
Okay.
So
are you saying he's the president's mouthpiece?
Could be.
So these are sentiments maybe the president also does share, but because so far he has not come out to refute any of these statements.
Yeah. And if you look at it, I think the only tiff that existed before the two, where the two seemed to not be reading on the same page, was on the matter of the Nairobi governor, Johnson Sakaja, when the president actually invited Sakaja with him to go visit Gulana Kulan, when the DP and the Nairobi governor were in a bit of had a bit of a war of words. But since then, everything seems to be, it basically seems like he's amplifying what the president says in low tones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas the deputy president has come off as a straight talker or a man who shoots from the hip, his remarks and actions are increasingly seen as unsuitable for a person occupying the second most powerful office. Do you think it's unsuitable? Do you think there are things maybe that the deputy president should not be speaking? Because even if he could be the president's mouthpiece or the president's handyman who gets to speak the other things that are said in low tones over in State House, there are others chini yake. Kazi ya kina Itumbi inafaa kwa hii ama?
Yeah, but I think it's probably, maybe his handlers will probably do him a little bit more justice, in that being that he is part of the presidency, there are words that could come out from his mouth and be maybe seemingly seem inflammatory or offensive to a demographic of people within the state. So probably it will be handled, that he will probably do well to handle it a little better, and especially on the occasions with which some of these comments are made. If it is just by the wayside, they can't really be taken as
serious declarations.
Yeah. But when it is during official or state events, then they carry some weight. Remember, we also have envoys from other countries who participate in these forums. So it would also be probably the same thing he said to Samido. It probably look like the kettle calling the pot black. Yeah. So though, however, it is advantageous in a way.
Okay.
Remember, this isn't the first. We had a president who would actually use language that people would call insulting. If you remember, the late His Excellency Mwai Kibaki.
Yeah, that's
in public he would actually call you Mavi ya kuku, and it was something he was known for. Yeah.
Okay.
So probably maybe
from the same school of thought.
Yeah.
Because I think they also come from around the
same village. I mean, sorry, the same county.
Yeah. Same county and same generation. If we are speaking about political generations,
I think no.
He was DO during back
when
in the Moi days.
Remember when Gachagua was appointed to government, or when he was coming to government, Moi Kibaki had already tried his luck in the 92 election.
Okay.
So Moi Kibaki is a bit senior.
He's a bit of a veteran.
Yeah.
Let's hear some of these words. DP Gachagua, I'm going to read 3 of the statements which have been prioritized here by the Standard. The government is like a company with shareholders. There are those with a lot of shares. There are those with a few. Only those that have invested deserve to reap the dividends. And I'm going to pause there before I go to the other comments or the other words by DP Gachagua. Calling the government a company. There are 2 ways to look at it, yeah? Maybe this government is being run like a company, and there are people who invested heavily in bringing it to power, so we're going to listen to their thoughts first, yeah? On what they think the direction of the country should be headed. I don't know whether he's pointing out to people who need to be rewarded as political appointments, as we've seen there with CASs or PSs or into ministries, or he is silencing the opposition. We've seen ODM leader and opposition chief Raila Odinga coming out heavily against the government. And maybe is he saying that the opposition should not be giving its sentiments on how to run the government, or are this just another rogue statement and we are just, or both really? And remember, we of course see there's so many people are invested in bringing a government to power, and they could view it as an investment. Yeah, we contributed to the campaigns, we gave our posters, we gave our time, we gave our money, and it's time for us to reap up. And we know this is happening across all positions, from members of parliament to MCAs to governors. Could this be also one of those other paying back statements?
Could be. However, I think there's quite a problem with his sentiments, in that government isn't, you can't really privatize government, as his analogy would seek to compare with. A company is a private, here probably it's a private entity. I'd like to think that is what we're saying. Whether it's public or not, he will probably be wanting to maybe compare the shares to government, in that in a democracy, the majority have their way, and the minority have their say. In the same way as a company, where larger shareholders usually end up having controlling rights or voting rights, where minority shareholders, basically you just have to wait for whatever decision is made. And that's how government works, if you look at it, really. But however, at the latter part of his statements, only those who invested deserve to reap the benefits. I don't think that is really how government works, in that government is for the 50 million Kenyans. Government is supposed to produce service for all 50 million. So it's not just those who brought. Remember, there were, as per IBC figures with the last election, we had close to, 6 million people, over 6 million people voting against the current regime. Right. Now, these are people who had their say. So you can't just ignore them, like, just because you got the larger number. Yeah, that's not how government works. You can't just ignore a whole section of the population just because you're in control.
I have to point out that it's the larger section of the population if you also include the people who didn't show up to vote.
Yeah, again, who also voted by not voting. That is people who are showing that they didn't really have confidence in the electoral process. Okay. So you can't ignore all these people just because you got the figure that got you into power. So the first part of the statement, maybe you can't really take much away from it, in that there's some element of truth in it. However, the latter part of it, there are only those who invested deserve to reap dividends. That isn't really how government works, and I think this is one of the reasons why we have so much problems in the north of the country. In that these are areas of the country that don't really produce that much vote into the voting basket, and and subsequently they don't really have a significant share of the economic resource, and that is why we have banditry going on there, because Man, you will go into a place where between three countries, between three counties, you only have less than 200 kilometers of tarmac. Whereas in some other counties, from your shamba to everywhere, it's all tarmac. It's not tarmac, it's cabro. So I think there's quite a bit of. I think the last part of it is quite. Maybe it will be taken with a little bit of caution. Yeah.
Okay. Here, maybe I can read the whole statement. The government is a company that has shares. There are owners who have the majority of shares, and there are those with a few, while others do not have any. You invested in this government, and you must reap. You sowed, tilled, put manure, and irrigated, and it's now time to reap. I'll follow that up with the other comment that he made when they were having that exchange with Sakaja. Governor Sakaja, slow down. I mobilized the Kikuyu votes for you, so don't hurt our business. The idea of removing matatus from town is not good. Now, away from intellectual discourse and analysis, maybe let's look at it from a layman. Is it because he's saying something that we know is true and it should not be said? That could be also another angle to look at it from, because we know there are people during campaigns, we know there are people who are invested financially, and we've always known this to be the case across all political positions. And we are aware, even not just with this government, even from previous governments, whether it's the Uhuru administration or Mwai Kibaki administration, or even Moi way back, there are people whose vested interest in government are away from the politics and mostly maybe some finances. And as he's saying here, that he mobilized Kikuyu votes. Maybe they are the Kikuyu elder men that he got to speak to who need some favors after they get into power. Is the problem that he is saying something we know, or is the problem that this is happening and we need to address that rather than addressing DP Gachagua?
I think the problem mostly is how he says it.
Okay.
Because you could be saying something that is completely true. However, how you say it leaves room for question. With such kind of a statement, realize there are consequences that are going to come out from such a statement. This will be probably looking at it now. Once you put in an ethnic group like the Kikuyus are being, it will create such an illusion or a perception that the Kikuyus in Nairobi, the governor of Nairobi has a problem with the Kikuyus of Nairobi. So then how are you going to conduct, how will you conduct administration as a governor when you have individuals who, as you're calling businessmen within here, thinking they have a problem with you? Even if you call them in good faith, will they really take it similarly?
No, they won't, probably because the deputy president had put it in a certain
yes, yeah, especially if a politician more senior or a state officer senior to you actually says, puts it in a way that you have a problem with these individuals, then it make administration or administration of the county a bit troublesome, cumbersome, and the like. Yeah. So probably there are consequences of words, and especially when you hold power, your words have consequences. You will make a joke, but because you have power, then now it is no longer a joke. But without it, you can make whatever statement you want. So I think it's probably, and I really think I'd probably put this responsibility more on the handlers than on the deputy president. I mean, the handlers are people who are used to being around individuals of power. So probably prepare them in this way, and this is, I think, is a good case for the need of good public relations. Yeah,
and I believe they have a team of people who are well paid, and they should be screening these statements before they're made.
Yeah,
or advising him at least to stay away from some of these conversations.
And probably even just, and I think there's quite a bit of a problem right now, and especially if you look at how the presidencies are going on all around the world. If you look at the case of Donald Trump, the immediate former president of the United States, Twitter was his most, he would just say anything,
tweet anything at any
Twitter.
time.
And these are also matters of global consequences. It was a platform. Sometimes it is a platform where you actually instead you really don't want to go the official route, because officially you're going to, your hands are going to be tied by your statements. But if you use the unofficial route such as social media, what is there to tie your hands?
Nothing.
So you're able to communicate without having to be held responsible. So you will find that again, this is politics. So these are avenues he has, and I mean, if you're a politician and you have avenues such as this available to you and you don't use them, then
I believe also I'm going to point out a case of excitement on his part. I'm sure when you get to a large group of people who seem to be in support of what you say, there's a bit of excitement to go a bit extra into your statements, just for general excitement. And that should be taken into consideration in how he's making his utterances. These are not the only bloopers that the DP has been involved in. It's not an isolated case. There are so many, including the initial remarks about how much of foreign reserve we have, how much money is there in the treasury, and all of those statements which were not confirmed and were opposed by people who are caretakers of such.
And again, such kind of statements, if you actually look at it this way, it did actually cause a bit of a panic, especially on matters financial, because if you look at what has been going on since last year, there's been quite a bit of capital flight going away, not capital flight away from the country, based on some of this and the uncertainty of, and if you look at what this new administration has been coming with, such kind of statements from the deputy president, and then now all these new tax regulations and all that, this is spooking the business community, this is spooking the financial markets. They're not really certain about what is going on in Kenya, and investors need certainty.
Right.
So I think there needs to be a measure. Again, this is to the handlers. They really need to figure out a way in which maybe they could brief the deputy in a better way. Or these are some of the consequences of some of the statements you will make. Because at the long run, when capital, I mean, the crowd might get excited. Maybe a section of the people who are being served might get excited. But in the long run, when capital flight goes away from Kenya, and people are not investing as much as they did here, and remember, Rwanda is actually Rwanda is like just waiting for Kenya to just mess up,
so they can take over.
Yeah. So all this capital not being in the country means that some of the problems that they actually want to tackle will become even more difficult to tackle.
And it's not, and then it will no longer be a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke until it isn't.
Yeah, and especially right now when the whole global financial system is in a recession, I really think on matters on financial statements, they need, maybe the whole presidency needs to take a little bit more. Maybe they should be a little bit more careful with some of the statements.
All right. A very funny other incident I want to mention before we move away from the DP. Here, a month ago, 2 chiefs and an assistant chief from his constituency of Mathira in Nyeri reported him. They reported the deputy president to Mathira East Deputy County Commissioner Peter Gishea, claiming that he had threatened them. The 3 claimed that the DP called them at night and threatened to sack them over allegations of supporting Azimio leader Raila Odinga in the 2022 general elections. One of the chiefs said that the DP told them that he should spend time looking for another job because his sacking was in the offing. That's DP. Joker or rogue DP, case of Gachagua. You can get to read this story and give us your feedback and what you think your answer will be. I'd love to hear your answer, Joker or rogue DP. Tell us what your thoughts are on that.
They're not really flattering titles, both.
Yeah. On this other side of the Daily Nation, big names in the race for CAS. So there's a list here on page 10 of 224 individuals who are slated for an interview to fill about 20 to 21 slots in Chief Administrative Secretary position. And this is a position that many had thought was against the Constitution. But we saw that the courts have allowed President William Ruto to make this appointment, and the provisions are there according to the Constitution. So pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution, you can check out Section 30 of the Public Service Commissions Act and also Article 132(4)(a) if you have any disputes against them. Very many names here, most of them political losers, ex-governors in this shortlist, allies of President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza team. And in number 48, I see Dennis Njue Itumbi, So kama uko na thao unaweza ekelea kichwa hii confirmed. Hii number 48 hii imeenda for sure. But there's a list of others totaling up to 224, including McDonald Mariga Wanyama, and Mr. Wilson Sosion. Other interesting names like Isaac Mwaura, Charles Njagwa, who's a former member of parliament for Sarai constituency, and ex-governors across the board from Evans Kidero, Margaret Wanjiku, James Ongwae of Kisii County, who switched sides immediately after the new administration took over, and Purity Ngirishi, who lost over in Kirinyaga, Miss Millicent Omanga, who lost in Nairobi, and a host of other losers and friends of the president. Sijakuona hapa kwa list hebu ama uko wapi? Ama nimeruka hapa Eric Masharia number.
Based on the statements by the DP, I don't think it will be very likely for you to see me in such a list.
Allies. How could we get, how could we invest kitu?
Seems I put on niligonga bet pande mbaya.
Yeah, crazy. This one, there are two things to look at here. Hii position ilikuwa illegal, yeah? That's one. Two, this is a lot of people to put into administrative positions, especially on a contentious position. Many Kenyans feel like it's not it doesn't have any importance, right? Yeah. The economic burdens are easy on the country. The budget is being tightened, and there's not much, of course, to pushed into paying these salaries as well. So reaction to those two. One, is this just a reward to friends and allies of the, as the deputy president said there, shareholders? Are we seeing the return of other shareholders, or do we need more people? Tukona CS, tukona PS.
Yeah.
Now we have CAS and a host of other office workers who will be in their, teams, right?
I think this is just like the deputy president said it. This is shareholders getting their dividends. And however, there isn't really quite nothing wrong with that to some extent. What I would find a problem with is that they're all politicians. And the role is, even in the title, is administrative secretary. So these are probably people who will probably have a bit of experience with administration and a bit less politicking. There's quite a bit of a major shift. In fact, I think it's a very huge shift from the previous government and this, in terms of the people who are taking up roles. In this government, we're seeing a lot more politicians taking up high offices of the land, unlike the previous government where technocrats mostly came in, which is something quite peculiar, because I've never really, in a recession, I don't think it's the wisest thing to put in politicians when you're trying to maybe re-up the economy and help it, which is what they actually, you need experts, people who know how to come in and manage systems and all that. However, looking at the kind of people who are coming in, I'm looking at somebody like Mr. Wilson Sosion. To some extent, maybe he could have bring in a bit of experience in terms of the fact that he was in what is NAT, Kenya National Union of Teachers. Maybe there is a bit of experience that could be brought in from there, but most of it honestly seems just like political rewarding. And I think it's now time we actually see. We can't, maybe we are told it's not good to wish ill on the government, because at the end of the day it's our government.
Yeah, it's ours, all of us. We're gonna reap the benefits or face the consequences together.
Yeah.
All right. So as you continue to look at that list, read to see if your relative is there, if they made it. This is an open position, by the way, that was declared last year by the PSC for application. So those are applicants who have been shortlisted, and we are expecting that 20 of them will be picked by President William Ruto eventually to fill up those CAS positions. Oh, by the way, the role of a CAS, the functions of the CS include responding to issues and questions touching on the portfolio assigned to the office and providing liaison with the National Assembly and the Senate. So we are seeing, as you said, it's supposed to be a position filled by technocrats, people who know how to manage things, to liaise between the national parliament and also their ministry. So effectively, we hope that as you said, we're not wishing any ill. Whoever will be picked, whether political friends or technocrats, because at this point I don't think we have any saying in how this process will be conducted.
Yeah.
But we hope that they can get to do some work for the nation and less of political. We already have enough people making statements for the Kenya Kwanza government.
Yeah.
I don't think we need more mouthpieces and others to put in their word in whatever affairs are happening between Azimio and UDA or Kenya Kwanza.
And I think it's probably the last time I was here, we made such a statement in regards to the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, Mr. Aden Duale, and I think it's only fair that you give commendation where it is due, and he's actually changed. He's managed the process quite well from a politician to a technocrat, and I think he's doing quite a good job.
Okay, asitie tembo maji.
Yeah,
so still early enough. Still early enough. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, do you say no? We say we appreciate what change we have seen.
Yeah.
In Mr. Duale there. Still speaking in matters of politics and a segue into former President Uhuru Kenyatta. There is trouble brewing in the Azimio side. Generally, we've seen this since August polls. Yeah. Kwanza venye nimesema hapo Ongwae, immediately after results were announced at Bomas, there were a lot of screens coming up, of course. Kuna hiyo ya vita, kuna watu wako nje ya Bomas, there's a lot of reactions. The choir, there was people over at Serena giving their own different press briefing, but there was an interesting shot of James Ongwae leaving Bomas in an entrance. I don't know why they did that, but he was the only one who was highlighted in that regard. And a day later, James Ongwae defected from that other side and declared support for the Kenya Kwanza team. He was governor for Kisii County 2 terms straight under ODM, which means effectively under Azimio. But now we've seen him on the other side. And that's, I'm building that up, of course, to say 30 other MPs from Jubilee also getting to meet the president. We've seen some from ODM as well. You know, independent members of parliament who won their seats switching over to the Kenya Kwanza side. And the Daily Nation here on page 4 is saying that Uhuru Kenyatta is losing allies in the Mount Kenya region as his clout is dwindling, even from his party and also on the ground. The number of people who are preaching their support for President William Ruto. You were telling me that he's playing a bigger league, and these are probably not things that he should be commenting on. Do we expect a statement from Uhuru Kenyatta, or apart from what he said, that he's continuously still supporting Mr. Raila Odinga, do you expect him to get to have a say on what his influence looks like in Mount Kenya and in Jubilee Party?
Okay, there's an unwritten rule in that former presidents are not typically required to comment on the workings or on the going-ons of the day, in regard to the current
of the day.
Yeah, and in regard to the current administration. However, I think in SG Kioni, who is actually my SG, being a loyal party member of the Jubilee Party, I think his statements probably will come through the SG and through the NEC. I think we have an NDC is it on the 25th? I think it's the 25th, I'm not certain. We do have an NDC on the 25th. I think maybe it's probably yet to be confirmed, but I think there's something of the sort coming on. And I believe probably the president's sentiments, the former president's sentiments, being the party leader, will probably be passed on then.
Okay. That's the more important forum for him to express his sentiments.
Yeah. This is remember, it's going to be an event where most individuals who come from individuals within the party, party members basically, are going to have a chance to actually air to voice their opinions, which is something we are really waiting to do, because we feel that we are not really happy with what is going on within the party, and we have been given an opportunity to say so, and I think we will be able to express ourselves.
Okay, here page.
Maybe just to go on a bit in regard to him losing allies. I think it's too early to count him out. Remember his profile internationally. I don't think there's an individual, maybe short of the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who has a profile that can match his. He already, remember, he was actually nominated. There were discussions around him chairing the IFC, which he will be the first African to actually
be at the helm of
the IFC, and the fact that he also has incredible support from the whole East African region, and I think maybe it's something him and the president of Uganda probably seem to be working it out. So I think it's too early. And remember in 2000, was it during the Orange and Bananas
conversation in 2005?
Yeah, he actually went against the whole Mount Kenya backyard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, right, that's true.
And he came out on top with the Orange movement actually winning. In 2007, he was supposed to actually go against His Excellency the late Kibaki, went out last minute, but and came back again to win in 2013. So it's quite too early to count him out.
Shift.
Yeah, it's just and then politics. There's nothing really permanent in politics. So people might like you today, not like you tomorrow, and then remember you maybe come 2025. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, sure thing. Most of the gambles that they're calling him Mr. Kenyatta here on the Daily Nation. Former President, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, most of his gambles have turned to be awry throws. So despite his many losses, he can surprise his fans by winning big or frustrate them by losing yet again. Just as you said, he's someone who's been able to switch from one side of the Mount Kenya liking to the other side. So we are not, probably let's say we are dismissing this headline.
I think it's quite a big say. Remember, he's still chairman for Gema, so it's a long task. Besides, there isn't really anyone up there who will probably take up the seat yet.
Still part of the bigger Azimio team. The fight for the heart of the Jubilee is set to intensify after the factions allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta called a National Delegates Convention. A notice for the March 24th and 25th NDC has been published by the party secretary, as you said there, your SG, Jeremiah Kioni. That was published today. So the agenda here is welcoming leaders elected in the general elections, electing national officials, and reviewing party policies. So hopefully those rogue MPs might be dealt with in this NTC, right?
Maybe a little bit of discipline needs to be brought back into the political scene, because I think as it is, it's very rogue.
Yeah, for sure. Lastly, I wanted us to talk so much about taxes because it's a big thing that the Business Daily is doing. KRA wana sniff bags. Ile 2 million umekuja leo asubuhi, sijui kama utamake nayo nyumbani, but msimkona. So let's have here, there's a turnaround in how there's an expected, this is not actually something that's been fully implemented or decided on. It's just based on sentiments and statements from the Professor Ndungu, who is the CS for the Treasury Ministry. So his statement, I'm just going to read it so that I get your reaction real quick. I see here we are not good with time today. According to Professor Njuguna Ndungu, on how exactly feasible it is to taxation, he's saying that high tax rates will not give you high tax returns. High tax revenues, that is. But if you lower the tax, you will increase acceptance and grow the base. We are going to rationalize the tax rates by moving into each tax instrument and trying to optimize to the point where they do not distort the market, as well as it does not create an incentive for you to run away from paying taxes. Essentially, if we have more taxes, we're going to encourage more people to run away from taxes.
Exactly.
But we have lower taxes and we increase the tax base. We have more products in the tax base and more returns in terms of tax revenues. This is just a thought that has been shared here by him. And one of the other things they're going to do once they do away with the increment of taxes is they scrap the diesel and kerosene subsidies. Remember, fuel subsidies were already scrapped, and that has been able to see the stabilization of fuel prices. They've not changed any time in the past 6 months, I think, and kerosene and diesel have been avoided generally because of the many number of households which are dependent on this. But if we do that, if we do that, if the government takes that step where there's no higher taxation or increment of taxes, and we are expecting then that the diesel and kerosene subsidies and a host of other subsidies, by the way, except the one on fertilizer and other agricultural produces, are going to be scrapped. Is this the best way to handle this?
First and foremost, I'd like to completely agree with the statement by the Treasury Secretary. And I think it's something that this administration had started off in that they were focusing on productivity and not tax. And this comes back to the conversation which we were having earlier, in that when you start talking about increasing taxes as much as you do, and again their tax rates, again there's no money in the treasury and all that, you do run the risk of capital flight. And I think this the sentiments coming from the Treasury Secretary are as a result of the spook that has been in the international in the finance markets.
Right.
If you continue taxing individuals, if you want higher taxes from me, you can't expect me to pay my employees more.
Right.
So I'll probably either bring down their salaries. You expect me again, because of inflation, to increase their salaries. So how am I supposed to conduct business? You see?
True. Okay.
So I'd rather, and this is why we have tax havens, and you find that companies will run away from the United States, go to principles such as Singapore, go to Dubai, where they really don't have that much tax. And if you look at Kenya is the eastern gate of Africa. And if we literally keep piling on pressure on tax, we are going to give away this title to probably Tanzania, because I am certain that they do have lower corporate taxes. I don't think they virtually almost close to no income tax, vis-a-vis us, Kenya, which is one of the most taxed countries in Africa.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I completely agree with the Treasury Secretary, the professor, and I think what we need to do is probably increase the base and increase productivity. I think productivity, just like the president had earlier taken on, I think that is where at least redemption for the economy will come from.
Okay.
With increased productivity means there is increased revenue and there is increased collection by the taxman.
All right, the government can collect more revenue, not necessarily on overtaxing the people. Here, the Kenya Kwanza government, 3 trillion is what the Kenya Kwanza government wants KRA to collect in the next financial year to June 2024. Remember, the budget is also ballooning, and it's expected by 2025, Kenya's budget will be playing between 5 trillion to 7 trillion. So there's no room for backsliding or backpedaling. There needs to be a solution as soon as possible. The Kenya Kwanza government has been in power for 160 days, so you can be holding them to account on what they promise they'll deliver within those days. Mzee, time limit tukimbia.
Always happens when you're having good conversations.
That's true. So if you have any reactions, feedback on what we've been sharing here with Eric, please do tell us and let us know. Na pia unaweza to correct. Tumesema kitu labda and you don't think that you agree with it. Tell us on KU TV platforms, on all the social channels. As always, culture dictates that we read the quote on the back of the Business Daily. Do us justice.
So today's quote comes from Marcus Tullius Cicero, who's a Roman statesman, lawyer, scholar, and philosopher. I think this comes from the Roman Empire. Yeah? More is lost by indecision than wrong decision. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. It will steal you blind.
I don't think I have to add anything on top of that.
Yeah,
likewise. It's a complete statement as it is.
True.
Asante sana mzee.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Taking that short break here, newspaper review section done. We're coming back with a conversation on beauty. I know people have been waiting on this one. This is the time we get to know what is in the beauty business, how do you get into it, and what can you expect in trends in the coming future days and years. Don't go too far. Hashtag Biashara Tuesday. We'll be right back.
tuende lunch.
Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Sikinai tujinai siweke story. Kata maji pia shada liko nasio nikosa mtupo si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni nini.
Mama, big up, Zade, ukiwa Adliva, big up, Sis, big up, Shows, Mama, big up, Oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swaibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalunukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Hapo kamatia, nyama kwani nipe bia.
Na maisha ni haya mwanaume ali. Da, sielewi yani hata neno moja. Yani tunasikia maboko likolo. Yani ukiniangalia tu mwamba huyu anafiti sehemu fulani. Wewe ni wewe inakaa. Without your love, I can't move on. Yo, that's your boy Rhino the Don. Keep watching and listening to KUTV.
I'm your host Esther Becky,
and my name is DJ Terror.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo umetune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Fashionistas, looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you started as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Catch me, Ashley at Sachi, as we unlock the greatest fashion events. Keep it locked.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have boxercise, we'll have kata box. Just the show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you.
So once we do the balancing during the layering. So once we put the animal manure layer, we again repeat the process of wetting with the microorganisms. We add the eggshells and a little bit of wood ash, and then now we go to the green matter section. The green waste is not just only crops, but we also look for indigenous plants that have high nutrient value. So we also incorporate that in the green matter layer. And once we do that layer, we also again water, do the microorganisms, the eggshells, the wood ash, and the layer continues until we reach the height that we desire. After that, we cover, just to increase the temperatures.
Welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. The hashtag to use is Biashara Tuesday. Leo watu wametune in sana na wanataka shoutouts wote. I will be giving you your shoutouts at the end of the show. On Facebook, Diana Dero watching from Kasarani, and the other guys who are on Twitter wananiambia wana watch live na wanataka kalamu. I think that's what they've seen, the branded Biashara Tuesday pens. But I'll get into that in a short while. I'm here having a conversation on the beauty industry. Kutoka makeup, kupambwa, nini, kukaa fiti, muhimu. When you see me here on air, there's people who've really worked hard to ensure that nakaa fiti. So how's that industry looking like? How can you invest? And what are some of the myths, including bleaching? Yeah, so I think that's a conversation that we can get to look at kidogo briefly, but much more, of course, into the business of beauty and how the industry is looking like. Here, I have two gentlemen with me. I'll allow them to introduce themselves in their own capacity, alafu, and then we hear what they have thoughts on the beauty industry. Karibu sana wazee.
Oh, shukran.
I'll start with Norman. Ambia watu mambo yako yakoaje? How's the beauty industry and what is your position in that role?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm Norman Midigo. I'm a content creator. I'm a beautician by profession. I'm a beauty trainer and a consultant in the beauty industry. And I'm also a consultant in cosmetic production, including permanent cosmetics and the temporary ones.
All right.
Yes.
Great. And I see you got the memo. And now to the man who didn't get the memo.
Yeah, basically I'm Isaac Mgireki Mthoni. I'm a father and a husband. Yeah, and I'm a beautician. In the beauty industry, I specialize in nail technology and massage.
Yeah. All right. What are your maybe? Let me just start with the motivation, or what brought you into the beauty industry? Is it something that you did and then you realized it's gonna be a venture, or did you see it as a venture first and then you decided to get into the industry?
Wow, your story, Joe. I basically didn't know about the beauty industry until I was in it. Ni ile tu umezunguka, life imekugonga, you know, and then you find somebody who mlikuwa mnasoma naye doing the industry, and then akofiti. So I joined the industry. And later I developed passion on it, and that's why I'm here today.
All right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons. Which are yours?
My reason majorly was because I'm very artistic naturally. I'm a very good artist in terms of drawing and visual spatial activities, like creating things. I'm very creative. and artistic. So I think that led me to beauty, because at some point I used to see some people with very fancy hair, very good looking makeup, and I felt like that is the adventure for me, because it's not very crowded and it has a lot of money also. So money was one of the things. The second thing was creativity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good having fun while making money at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has a lot of money, so I think this will be my last show. I'm switching on to the beauty business. Tuende go tukatengeneza pesa. But yeah, glad to hear you mentioned content there, right?
Yeah.
Recently I was having a shave at a barber somewhere, and tulikuwa pale Instagram live nini reels. Is this become a thing also? How's that playing out for the industry?
Yeah, it's really a thing, because now these days people love what they normally do usually, the thing that you do regularly, like going to the barber shop, everyone wants to look good. So when you capture the moments when you're getting to in the process of looking good, people like seeing that
transformation.
So that transformation, that's the thing, especially for makeup and some nails.
Okay.
Makeup is very, very, very marketable right now, especially the permanent makeup, because sometimes you find like maybe you don't like your physical features, and we are here doing the magic. We change you to what you want.
Okay.
You can make you look in a different way permanently or temporarily. Yeah, so that's one of the most interesting things about it.
Permanently or temporarily. We'll be having a look at some of those myths, by the way. And I mentioned there bleaching, which is a conversation that people have, especially when it comes to makeup. But just to hear from him also on content, has that boosted business?
Yeah. And that one answers my question about social media. And everybody is running into social media, because now the business aspect in the beauty industry, I'm in Meru, for an example, and the one who shaves me around Meru can't do something. The only person who can do it is probably in Eldoret. So how will this beautician in the Eldoret place get in touch to reach with me? It's via Instagram. We are making those reels, we are making those TikTok videos. So ndo hapo ndo nitaona, I think that's the kind of guy who should be shaving me. So it creates the business position in the industry now grow. You understand? Because when I ventured this, I said I didn't know anything about beauty until I was in it. And growing, nilikuwa nashindwa ku sustain myself and a living, and I was still a normal beautician until I entered the social media world, where people were like, I love those nails. Msiako Mombasa, Msiako Eldoret, Msiako Kisumu, So the social media has really impact making those real, having fun while you're doing it, because the Bible, somewhere says in the Bible, I'm not so good with it, but I know, nasema, those people who love what they do, they earn, and they are so happy.
Right.
So when I fell in love with the beauty industry, I started making money from it.
Right. And they also say that if you do something you love, you will never have to work for the rest of your life. Yeah,
definitely.
That's for sure. You're having fun while you're doing it.
Oh, awesome.
Huyu jamaa amesema that there's money, and you've also said you're having fun while making money at it.
Yeah.
Is there a ready market? Is there ready jobs for people who finish school and get into this business?
Definitely, yes. Like right now, you're in the media industry. I know you understand that the film industry in Kenya is growing. All right, and there are the makeups. Like for an example, you watched the Thriller of Michael Jackson. So people say that is demonic, but that is just
good
makeup. You
really
understand.
Good makeup, yeah.
And now our film industry is growing. People are doing cards. You saw Otile Brown did a bullet wound, on a music video. Now there are special kind of makeups, the special effects makeup that we find ourselves zina grow. So our film industry wakona gap, because they are not getting those right people to do the special effects makeup. Unapata sisi wote tumezoea the normal, tunapigania tu kwa maharusi. Unapata tuna stock huko, unaona, tunataka maharusi, you get, but now
artist kwa harusi.
Yeah, lazima tuko huko, so sote tunakimbia huko, but we are forgetting that there is the industry is growing. We need those people who can do special effect. And I want to thank Vera Beauty and Fashion College, mostly because they offer those short courses. That school is more advanced. Like anything new comes in, they grab it. And I understand that becomes the importance of why you should join and benefit from a good school. Don't just join a beauty school. Join a school that's updated. You have to get the values. The industry is growing.
Norman, how do you choose? Just like you said, how do you choose to go to which beauty school do you pick? I know we're gonna say Vera, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
As you said there.
Yeah.
But Others, what is it that is with Vera and maybe good schools like that, that people can pick when they're choosing? And also, why is it important maybe to learn there rather than to go to a salon na uanze hapo alafu ngoje ujue? Because I'm guessing if I'm in a salon, I will probably take a really long time before I know special effects makeup, right? I will
never know.
Yeah, we all probably will never know. Yeah. So how do you choose also, and why is it important that you go there rather than the other route?
Yeah, I'd choose Vera several times because, first of all, I've taught in very many schools in Nairobi and out of Nairobi, including Johannesburg. And something with Vera is that the only good thing with it is that they pick very professional staff, and they pick people who are very good in and out of the professionalism. Because you see, most schools, they teach people professional. Yeah, they teach professional stuff. But whatever is taught in school is not what happens out there in the market. So you find that with Vera, they take professionals who are good outside there in the market, and also with the professional stuff that they do in school. And then another thing that is good with Vera is that they keep following up. In as much as it's a big school, other big schools, they get so busy. When you're done with school, there's no one to follow up on you, to keep trends, keep tabs on whether you're doing good or what, something like that.
Or else a new thing in the industry that you need to keep up.
Sometimes you as a student can be done with school and they're out there and then they're having a challenge. There's no one who will be there to follow up. Or if there's someone follows up, it will be like a week later. So, but with Vera, we keep tabs on all our students. In as much as there are many, we have a system of following up on every one of them.
Okay.
So for Vera, they teach professionally, both what happens in school and what happens outside the school.
The practicality aspect.
Yeah, and then we also have advanced courses like the permanent makeup. Because now I can want my eyebrows to look dope 24/7 for like 5 years, 10 years. And then we also have very quality products. For me to have looks that are permanent for several years, I need very quality products. Other schools out there, they will tell you, you will have, they normally win your heart by telling you, we are teaching you this and you'll have made money. It's always about money.
Okay.
But with Vera, it's a bit different. It's not about money, it's about the quality of
the skill,
and the product and the trainers. Yeah, they take care of their trainers really well, and their learners are like their everything.
Okay.
So I'd go for Vera like several times because of how they handle their people.
Those specific reasons that you've mentioned there.
To also add on the same, you find that Vera in Africa, it's really, really recognized. So we find most of the time people from Tanzania, Mozambique, Uganda, best spas asking, can we get students from your school?
Okay.
You understand? That's a ready market.
Right.
So we find that we had to, we also had to get away and tell children, you know what, you're becoming a beautician, but now you're or a cosmetologist, but now you're an entrepreneur. You have to get a passport. You really don't have to work around this country. There are places, you know, the good thing that Kenya is blessed with them, a very good mindset. We are really blessed
for opportunities.
With opportunities. Like when you go to, in Tanzania and say, oh, Kenya, you're given first priority from Vera, first priority. So those are the kind of benefits you look at. You know, follow Instagram and see like how do we follow up with our alumni. All right, follow our Facebook pages like mostly on Wednesdays. We post success stories of our students. That's our way of following up. Are they doing good in the business? What is not happening? What do they need to enhance on? You know, so when you're choosing a school, you have to look at the benefits that you will gain apart from studying, just becoming a makeup artist.
Including after.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial part of it. Are you taught how to make money? Are you taught on how to make sure that you don't overuse products and make money? You get. Because when you teach me how to just polish and you don't tell me when you use a big amount of polish, then you'll find yourself but yes, you have made money, but you'll go back buying the product instead of making profit. So you find that Vera
covers all this.
Has covered. It's just not about you learning the makeup skills, the massage skills. It's about being an entrepreneur.
Okay. All right. There are myths I want us to take a look at. It's 9:50 and we have about 5 minutes. But there's so much to speak about. I'd love to know about the industry as a whole. Let me just maybe pick a few of those very urgent concerns that people have. Let's start with the myth, right? I mentioned there earlier that the bleaching, which I'm just using it as an example, it's not the whole conversation, right? Use of products, stuff like that, you know, allergies, reactions, what kind of business happens in massage, you know, some of those some of those myths that people are used to that you guys would like to debunk for us for the first time here.
There are so many myths that are happening out there. That's why you need to like learn this thing professionally from the best trainers, because before you even go to the myths on the makeup, you need to know some simple things like the health and safety. Is this product healthy for your skin? Is it healthy for consumption by anyone? You also need to know like the professional ethics on how to convince your client and show them or tell them that this product is just a myth. This is just a myth. There's nothing about that. And then you need to know about the anatomy of the skin. We're talking about something that is applied on your skin, and your skin is like your everything because it's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive area. So at least when you understand the anatomy of the skin, you know that when I apply this product, it's going to get inside the skin to some particular portion of the layer of the skin, and it's going to stay there. And then either it will react on my skin or it may not react. And if it reacts, what do I do to get rid of it? Yeah, so you really need to go deep, understand the anatomy of the skin, so that you can be able to get rid of these myths, so that you try to be clean. You don't have some hitches in the beauty industry.
That's for sure.
So one of the myths is like the most common one is like when you apply makeup frequently, you become old, you age faster. Yeah, so some people think I don't know. That's why I'm saying you need to understand the anatomy. So learn skincare and facial treatments, so that you know that makeup is not applied directly on the skin. There's always a barrier between the makeup and the skin. And those are some cosmetic
things that people need to know. So a lack of information, I think maybe before you go on with the rest of the myths, a lack of information or proper information is one of the reasons there's so much of this myth going around.
Yes.
All right. Is there any other?
Yeah, there's like this one that I really need support from the older people. You find that a lady does a blue eyeshadow or gray, then where? Ule msichana mbaya, you know.
Demon.
Yes, it's demonic, you know. It's not. It's makeup. It's our job. It's technology. It's advancement. Unajua umetupeleka shule tusome. Like my parent have paid my fee niende nisome. Nikuwe in the modern world. I'm already in the modern world. So to create that makeup and those eyeshadows, it's my job. It's not evil. It's not demonic in any way. So it's ningeomba tu viewers. Ukiona kasichana kamepaka makeup blue, yellow, appreciate her.
Ama vile umesema kwa music video special effects, someone with a bullet wound nini is like it's shetani hizo.
It's not demonic manze. Hiyo mimi ni job yetu. It's time to move on that
forward. Yeah, right. Maybe finally, I think we are running against time here today heavily. I'd like to hear from each of you. What is it that can be done to improve the industry as it is at the moment? Maybe you can mention a few things you feel are not correct, and a projection into what you think the future looks like for people who want to join the industry as players or just enthusiasts. Yeah, I'll start with you and then we can go that way.
Okay. So first of all, we need to get proper advice to people out there, especially in the social media platforms, because most people take this makeup and all this beauty stuff as demonic. Like me, I remember I posted on Instagram special effect makeup of a slit throat. Someone whose throat has been slit. And then the second comment, the first one was amazing. And then the second comment was, Shetani, how did you know Shetani?
Have you met Shetani?
Yeah, this Shetani, you know it's Shetani because someone did some video and posted it there and told you some good makeup that Shetani anafanyanga hii. So you need people like that to appreciate the art and all that.
Okay.
And then the beauty industry is very bright. Right now it's like in the Kenyan government is one of the most growing sector in the business, and it's providing a lot of revenue for the government because people love cosmetics. You can't go leave your house when you're not looking good. You have to apply some cosmetic, whether it's a moisturizer, a sunproof, or a sunscreen, or even a remis. Yeah, you have to look good. Even if you don't like the makeup, some lip gloss or some moisturized lips are good. You have to apply your hair, some chemicals, kidogo, tumafuta kidogo, shin. Yeah, so people use cosmetics, but they don't realize they're using cosmetics. They need to start appreciating cosmetics. So the awareness should be there. The future is very bright, and there's money in this business. So you should think of joining this business. And if personally, I train at Vera Beauty and Fashion College, and I do magic with my job. And so probably if you want to see what I do, or you want to learn more about makeup, beauty generally, facials, manicure, pedicures, hairdressing, beauty, styling, chemical productions, you can always come to Vera Beauty and Fashion College.
All right. Isaac.
For me, beauty industry, it's a lifesaver. In a save life. The other day I got to witness a lady saying how much they are paying in Saudi Arabia because it's 900 something, which is 27,000 Kenya shillings. Now why I'm saying it's a lifesaver is because that lady maybe got a loan of 100,000 shillings to fly to Saudi Arabia and probably die and come back in a casket. While you can, that 100,000 shillings, so when you come to us, at a year unaona, we will say probably you'll take a short course of makeup. We'll take a short course of makeup and do it for 3 months, become perfect, all right? Maybe umelipa kayo 50,000 shillings, then remaining 50,000 shillings just buy your own kit. Walk around, you don't even need to be employed, just walk around na every day unatengeneza dhao yako ya makeup. Utapata kasichana wakapiga eyebrows nini, you understand that is 30,000 shillings. You are not far from your mother, you're not far from your kids and your life as well. You understand? So for those ladies traveling out there, unalipa 100,000 sijui ndege, mbona tu sikamu learn a short makeup ya nails ama short course ya massage, you understand? Then let us train you on how to make that 30,000 right here in our country and you're safe. So it will save a lot of lives. So for parents out there, before upeleke mse kazi Kenya iko, it's just that you really need to know how to get to the right school, the right people, and Vera Beauty and Fashion College is always here for you.
Okay. Yeah. Asante sana Isaac. Thank you guys for having this conversation. We could have more, and I'm hoping in the future tutapata some more time to sit down and look at more things, including wanaume wataki makeup, wanasema makeup ni ya madem, nini, you know, wanaume wataki kutengeneza nails, wataki kuwa fiti. What's up with you guys? Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to look at that some other time. Asante sana Isaac and Norman for coming through. Biashara Tuesday has been on air since 7 in the morning, and I want to be taking a break. Let me just close it up right about now. It's 9:56 in the morning. Comments that I can't fail to mention. One is Tony Kiprotich, watching from Doha, Qatar. Loving the show, very informative. Tony, from being social media here with us to Doha, Qatar, things must be nice. Connect me to your gods, yeah? Asante sana though for... Now, I hope ujenda huku kufanya beauty. Juu meskia you can do it at Vera and be safe at home. Other guys who are tuning in, here I see Green President HSC DK... that is Dennis Kimani. I'm tuning in on Twitter. Dennis Kimani Muriuki. Asante sana has been here before as well. That's on Twitter, on Instagram and YouTube. I don't think I'll have time because it's running out, but please keep tuning in to the rest of KUTV Kenya's broadcasting and also primetime news for any other updates that you might miss out. This is KUTV Rise. Today we come to you on Monday and Tuesday. Karen Blessing will be here next week on Monday to give you art and culture, and then I'll be back on Tuesday morning to give you matters of business, the economy, politics, technology, and anything in between. I have been your host, Richard Okenye. Get me on all the social platforms at Richard_Okenye. Let's have that conversation even off air. And as I always say, if you want to have breakfast in bed, sleep in the kitchen. I'll see you.